This week on VHS Boys, we're reviewing the film Dark City from 1998. And Dark City was director Alex Proyas' follow-up to The Crow, and somehow, despite coming off the success of his previous film and receiving mostly positive reviews from critics, Dark City still managed to be a financial failure.
Damn shame, dude. Real shame. Because
probably his best film.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that he had directed The Crow, which, you know, aesthetically slightly similar, but definitely the story is just shit in comparison.
Yeah, they are similar in the sense that they're both like comic booky, but also like dark and stylized. It's a very 90s aesthetic and thing.
Yeah.
It really had his thumb on the pulse of what was kind of cool in 1996. Dark City did go on to become popular on home video and has since become a cult film. There was eventually enough interest that a director's cut was released, and there's a DVD and a Blu-ray available.
How many years after, do you know?
I'm not sure, probably a couple years after. Probably in the early 2000s.
Okay.
I think that's when I saw it. I didn't see it in theaters.
Okay, but you saw the theatrical cut or the director's cut?
I really don't know. This time I watched the theatrical cut.
Theatrical's
and I guess
on
the real big difference is the director's cut doesn't have that awful voiceover up front that kind of ruins the plot.
Honestly, the theatrical cut kind of ruins the movie. It's like starting The Matrix and being like, oh, this is Neo. He lives in a computer simulation, and at the end, he's going to become the one. Go check out Dark City, the director's cut. I'm going to give the director's cut 4 out of 5 stars. And I'm going to give the theatrical cut 2 out of 5 stars. Just don't watch the theatrical cut.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think I'm also going to give this one 4 stars.
Sweet.
Conceptually pretty strong, and it has really good cinematography and art direction. I think it's the same team from The Crow. I'm not sure about the DP. I know it's the same art director.
Sure.
I'd say go watch Dark City. It's free to watch on Tubi. That's the theatrical version. You're saying the director's cut is available?
I think it's on Amazon.
Dark City stars British actor Rufus Su in one of his rare leading roles. He mostly played villains throughout the late 90s, early 2000s. I thought he was pretty unremarkable and couldn't even remember who starred in this movie until I rewatched it for this podcast.
Sure. He's kind of bug-eyed, a little bit interesting looking.
Despite the failure of Dark City, Rufus Su had a pretty decent career, and he's even starring as Prince Andrew in the new Netflix film Scoop.
Oh, nice.
Which is about Prince Andrew's infamous 2019 Newsnight interview. You're not familiar with the 2019 Newsnight interview?
No. Whoa.
This was Prince Andrew's attempt to do damage control when all the Jeffrey Epstein and underage sex allegations were coming out. And the interview ended up being a complete disaster, and Prince Andrew was immediately removed from the royal family by his mother, the Queen.
Why? Because he was like, yeah, no, I love having sex with children.
No.
But only on Epstein's island.
No, in the interview, he claimed that he couldn't have possibly been the one to have sex with the girl because she described him as being sweaty, and he in fact cannot sweat.
She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
So he claimed on television that he literally could not sweat. And after saying this live on TV, he lifted his arm and a sopping wet paper towel fell out. I figured you would relate to this, Russ, because similar allegations of sweating have been lobbied against you.
But I don't claim to not sweat, Gary.
No.
I fully admit that I sweat like a stuck pig.
Yeah. I just wanted to call you a pedophile.
I sweat like a British politician.
I sweat like a British pedophile?
Yeah.
So upon rewatching Dark City, the first thing that stands out about it is its numerous similarities to The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's not only like plot stuff, it's like style and atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And this has led a lot of people to speculate that Dark City was an influence on The Matrix, which could be true. But I guess it could also just be like parallel thinking in the 90s. Both films are framed around Plato's allegory of the cave. Both films are based on the principle that the world around you might not be real. Both are very influenced by classic noir films of the 1940s and 50s. Mm-hmm. I think the big difference between Dark City and The Matrix is that The Matrix is more realistic, while Dark City is more like a surreal type of thing.
I would have to agree with that. I feel like The Matrix ended, and I was like, oh shit, maybe we are all living in a computer. Dark City ended. I didn't think, oh man, maybe there are aliens. It's a little more out there.
Well, the whole concept of a dystopia where everything is constantly being changed and switched around is profoundly disorienting.
Do you think that's a comment on how all of us are the same person? We just have our personalities are put onto us by.
That's what the bad guys are. They don't have a person. They have no individuality or.
Right. They're trying to find out what it is to be human, which is why they are doing this experiment in so many ways. So what do you think the analogy is?
It's definitely
society.
You could put it onto whatever you want. You can put it onto the media, the government, bureaucracy.
But it's all people that impose personality on you, I guess. It's
not imposing personality on you. You're in a prison that you don't know.
Right.
You're being controlled by somebody else, and you're disoriented by being turned around 7 ways and not understanding what's going on.
Don't know who to trust. Don't know.
Yeah. You don't know what reality is, really.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, the shroud of reality is pulled over your eyes. You think you know what it is. You're living in this dark city or whatever, but really there's aliens controlling you, et cetera, et cetera. It's much bigger.
Murdoch investigates his past and learns that he grew up in a coastal town called Shell Beach, which is familiar to everyone, although nobody actually knows how to get there, and all of his attempts to leave the city are unsuccessful. Meanwhile, in an attempt to track down Murdoch, the strangers inject a copy of his memories into one of their own, an alien known to the collective as Mr. Hand. No relation to Mr. Hands, the guy who died having sex with a horse.
Yep. You sure there's no relation at all? It could be the same guy, Gary. You never know.
It could be his corpse, I guess.
Exactly. That's why he walks funny.
Yeah.
He has to fly everywhere. He can't actually move his legs. Paralyzed from the butthole down.
Well, it's Mr. Hand. It's not Mr. Hands.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's probably like a joke that he hears a lot in his daily life.
Probably gets tiring.
It's like, Mr. Hand, would you have sex with a horse? It's like, no, it's Mr. Hands. Inspector Bumstead, the police officer played by William Hurt, eventually catches Murdoch. And at this point, he's also started to figure out what's going on. And Bumstead and Murdoch then confront Schreiber, who explains that the strangers are actually extraterrestrials who use human corpses as their hosts. They have
he also explained at the beginning if you're watching the theatrical.
And Schreiber also reveals that Murdoch is an anomaly with the same superhuman abilities that the aliens have. So yeah, I think the strangers, they represent conformity and centralized control, while the protagonist represents like individuality, independent thought, freedom, all these kind of like human things.
And is that why he has the power to change things? Because he does represent like an individual in the group?
No, I don't think so.
Well, how would
why would that make any sense?
Why would he have the power in the first place? I guess is my question.
Because it's just so that the movie can wrap up nice and tightly,
just
right?
for convenience sake. Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sure. Okay.
I mean, like, are you asking how he got the powers? It's explained in the movie. They tried to change his memories and they fucked it up.
Oh, is that what happened? In the process of changing his memories, they fucked it up, and therefore he's able to do the chattering.
Yeah. I mean, the plot to this movie is a little bit.
It's out there. It's complicated.
It probably doesn't completely make sense, which is fine because it is a weird, like, surreal kind of film. But if you try to like follow the actual logic of it, it's like, oh, well, they put his memories that are supposed to put in him and another guy so they can predict what he's going to do, and like the whole thing is the logic is not super sound.
Yeah. Well, what do you expect? Aliens came up with the plan.
And then I don't know. I didn't really write a lot about the ending of the movie. I thought the ending of the film is a bit. It does kind of wrap itself up very cleanly. It's a little bit too clean.
Sure.
He just is like, oh, I got the power to fix everything, and
so I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Does he stop the aliens? I forget. Do they all explode? What happens?
Yeah, he kills all the aliens except for Mr. Hands, who he leaves to enjoy his life of zoophilia.
Yeah, I mean, who else would the horse is gonna have sex with if not for Mr.
He's like, please kill me. I'm sick of having sex with this horse.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you enslaved the human race.
Yeah.
Started changing the world around.
But they never actually leave the weird dystopia. He just kind of like turns it into what his memories are.
He brings sunlight.
He does, yeah. He brings them back to the star,
which is
neat.
neat.
Creates Shell Beach.
Yep. Which, funny enough, right? So so now that he has the power to change things, they're in space, which is why it's always dark. But he rotates the whole like space station city that they're on, so that now they can get light from the nearby star, right?
Yeah.
And he creates Shell Beach. He creates water around the place. These aliens, they hate water, so that's why water didn't really exist. So he creates this big lake or ocean, and then he creates like Shell Beach. But next to Shell Beach, there's this pier where he meets his wife, Jennifer Connelly. And funny enough, Jennifer Connelly is on a pier in like every flippin' movie she's ever been in. Haven't you noticed? So she's in this.
No, what are the other movies she's on a pier on?
Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream. Right?
It's like another dream sequence, like a weird dream thing where she's on a pier.
Yeah. I think it happens a couple times throughout the movie. The main character, Jared Leto, he's trying to get to her or something, and like I forget at the end.
Did you pronounce his name Jared Leto?
Is it not?
Isn't it Leto?
Gerard Leto. Like Cheeto, Gary. But anyway, yeah. And then the House of Sand and Fog and something like that. Let me look up the name real quick. Just so
I think you got the title right. It doesn't matter, Russ. Just say the thing about the movie.
It's just funny that she would keep being on a pier in all the things. And apparently Aronofsky hadn't seen Dark City, so it wasn't like a reference to like the previous year's movie. But the other one might have been like a reference to either one of those movies. But either way, I don't know. A lot of piers. It's just weird. It's just a weird coincidence that Jennifer Connelly on the end of a pier in every fucking movie.
Gary, who's this actor? Leggett? What the fuck did you? How did you say?
Leggett. Yeah. Is that better? I don't. My French is. I haven't practiced since high school.
Gary, have you heard of this guy, Jim Carrey? After Dark City, the director went on to do I, Robot, which was another huge success.
Really?
And a terrible film.
Yeah, I did not like I, Robot. Everyone was like, but it was
I, Robot's
kind of
really bad.
Yeah.
I remember watching it back when it came out and just being like, oh, it's just a modern sci-fi movie. And then I rewatched it years later. I was like, oh, this is fucking dumb.
It's about that time in Will Smith's career when he started just being boring on screen.
Oh, yeah.
You don't agree? Like he was fun in the Men in Black 1 and 2. And then just kind of at a certain point, he became like a Scientologist or something.
Well, it feels, iRobot feels like it's a real miscast for Will Smith. It's like they're just shoehorning him into anything because he's a big name and he's kind of self-movies. He really shouldn't be playing that like cynical character in the movie.
Yeah, he's more like a fun guy, but pretty much everything after that, like I Am Legend and even Hancock and pretty much like everything after that, he's just kind of like a boring, like broody. What was the one where he fights himself? There's just so many. There's so many Will Smith movies that I just don't care about after like iRobot.
Yeah, he flew too close to the sun. It's you never want to fly too close to the sun, Russ. Your wings will
melt your wax wings. Yeah,
you end up smacking a small man on live television. The director's career kind of died with Gods of Egypt.
Oh, Gods! Oh my God, he did that one too.
Yeah, that was another big failure. So
what was Alex Proyas's
interest in Egypt?
Most well-received film?
I guess it was The Crow.
The Crow?
Yeah.
Because people will still remember that. People don't remember Dark City. People kind of remember.
No, people remember Dark City. It's a cult film, but it wasn't a successful theatrical release.
Sure. What else came out in
The
98?
Crow is also a cult film, but it made money. A few years ago, Alex Proyas wrote and directed a short film set in the Dark City universe, and during a Q&A session after a screening of the film, he revealed he was in the early stages of developing a Dark City series. So if you enjoy Dark City, there may be a series, although it's kind of hard to say because this was reported like 3 years ago. And
is the short available to watch out there, Gary?
I don't know. Okay. I'm not sure.
Was it like Comic-Con or something release? Or
I don't know.
Okay, no worries.
I have no idea, Russ.
No worries. All right, that would be... I would probably watch it. That would be cool.
Yeah, if they did it, that's like a limited series. That could be really good.
Yeah, limited series. I don't know how long you can go on with like an unlimited series, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to stretch that out too long, but it could be good as like a miniseries. And
you think it would be like other people's stories as they try to figure it out, kind of like a retelling of the movie, or do you think it would take place after, or?
I don't know. I assume it would probably be like a retelling of the movie. The movie feels kind of abrupt because it's such a you could take more time with this story.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
So I could definitely see it working as a series. Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit shortened.
Sure.
Kind of squeezed into a feature film.
Yeah.
But I doubt it's gonna come out. It sounds like something that just like, you hear about stuff like this all the time.
Right.
Things go into development and they never actually get produced.
Yeah.
I don't know how much interest there really is in Alex Proyas and Dark City.
Right.
There's a Crow remake.
Right, the Crow remake's coming out.
Yeah.
Is he involved with that? Is he
I don't think he's
anything?
involved with it. He said it shouldn't be made, so he's not necessarily a huge supporter of the production.
Yeah, he's probably not part of the production then.
Yeah.
You're not going to hire someone who's like, no, let's not make this thing.
Yeah, well, people were pretty turned off by the images of the new Crow movie.
Because it looks like the Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. It looks just like the Jared Leto Joker. Hopefully, what's his name? Was it Bill Skarsgård? He's not fucking doing the whole method thing and sending people dead cats and shit in the mail.
Oh, did Leto do that?
Sending people like used condoms and shit in the mail.
It's fucked up.
I need to send you garbage in the mail to get into character.
Okay.
Was
that from one of those Harley Quinn movies, right?
Yeah, it was a Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I didn't actually end up seeing
Everyone wants to be the Joker. That is like the most sought after role to play. Mm-hmm. They,
So much so that they'll make a spin-off of The Crow and pretend it's not the Joker.
Yeah, well, if you can't be the Joker, maybe be the Crow.
Be the Crow. He's like emo. He's kind of like, he's got tattoos.
Wears makeup.
Yeah. I saw your brother online defending the new Crow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He was like, he looks hot.
Yeah.
I want to fuck the new Crow.
Yeah.
Sounds like
in
my
so
brother.
many words.
Yeah. He's an open-minded guy, I'm sure.
The world needs more Rickies.
Yeah.
You're all. So would you fuck the new Crow or what?
I'm going to have to say yes, Russ.
Okay, yeah.
You see the definition on those abs?
Abs are really washboards.
Gonna not fuck that guy?
I don't know. His hip bones are gonna like cut you with each thrust.
Oh, you
know?
like a little cushion for the pushing.
Or you got to really start building your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
You got to have cushion on one side or another. It's like fucking a skinny chick. It's just like it hurts.
Yeah. I don't know. I do not want.
Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, maybe you're doing gay sex wrong.
Now they tell me.
We're really just sputtering on fumes here now, Russ. I think it's time to stop this.
I don't know where we're going with it.
And we cut there.
No, let's figure out some sort of finale.
All right.
I was trying to do
Let's
that with
workshop
like the
this.
power.
Better Dark City jokes.
I think the only things that didn't keep it from being a 5-star, like the director's cut,
Yeah.
was Jennifer Connelly's acting. It was just so nothing. She just didn't really bring anything to the table at all.
Also, not much character development, but also the character is this like person who doesn't know who they are and has no memory. But yeah, there's not a lot of time to develop all of these characters in a pretty short, complicated film.
Mm-hmm. And she's like this jazz club singer, but her singing in the theatrical cut is actually not her. In the director's cut, it actually is her.
Oh yeah,
funny enough. So I've only actually
How is her singing?
Not great.
Not great.
I was watching the director's cut, being like, man, they probably could have got a better singer.
Probably why they cut it.
Why did they change it?
Yeah.
Producer probably felt the same way.
Who's the actress who does the nude scene? Is that Melissa George?
The prostitute.
Well, yeah, we call them sex worker.
Yeah,
nowadays,
the sex
Russ,
worker.
but,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has she been in
I want to say it's Melissa George. I could be wrong. Great topless scene.
Before she's while she's like in the other room getting ready. Yeah. And then
I miss them just doing that in movies. Just being like, just throw
some random titties.
Nobody does that shit anymore.
No, because I guess ladies don't just like looking at other ladies' titties. And half of moviegoers are... I don't know. Would you want, if there was like frontal nudity of guys in movies randomly? Would you mind?
Yeah, who cares?
Would that be good?
If
they showed boobs and frontal nudity?
No, because you can't show an erect penis. Nobody wants to look at a soft penis.
Yeah, I guess. Soft penis is played for comedy.
Exactly. No woman's like, ooh, look at that soft dick.
Right. But they could have more like Bill Skarsgård.
No, they could just do full frontal shirtless stuff with a guy, and women can enjoy that.
Right. And you can have abs or whatever. And ladies can oogle that just for your... Why do you think that is? Just like titillation for the masses? Just to be like, people like titties. It'll get some views. It doesn't add anything to anything beyond like, oh, great titties.
What are you talking about? It adds everything to everything. It's like the whole basis of like human art is like the form of like the female form. People have been, depicting women's nudity in art.
Right, but
it's like probably the first piece of art was probably like, ooh, tits.
Drawn on a cave wall. Yeah.
What's more important than that?
Yeah, but it didn't add anything to her character. Like I didn't learn more about her except that she has a great
I learned
rack.
that she had sweet tits. What are you talking about?
No, you're right.
She's almost too hot for a prostitute.
She might not have been a prostitute, Gary. That was just her iteration this time, right?
Yeah.
She was a cop before.
I wonder if that's how the strangers decide. They're like, this one's got great tits. Let's make her a prostitute.
Make her a prostitute.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because then they go around killing all the prostitutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Also, interestingly enough, the strangers, most of them are in adult corpses, but there's a couple that are in like little kids' corpses.
Right.
Which, either they needed... to make little guys to like get in little crevices and stuff in the city, or in their attempts to become more human, the strangers have discovered the joys of pedophilia.
Ugh.
And
I feel like
like Prince Andrew, they just kind of need to get some little guys in there,
right?
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, you get any type of like weird insular organization, it always ends up getting to pedophilia.
It always does. I don't know why. It fucking just does.
Yeah.
Damn cults and their pedophilia.
We've discovered that these humans, they like to have sex with children. Maybe we should give that a shot.
Try that.
This will save the race.
It's actually not as good, but we're still going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Oh, and Sutherland's acting.
He's a little bit out of place in this film.
Yeah. He feels kind of his performance. He plays this like kind of slightly crippled dude. I don't know if he's been tortured by the strangers, but he's definitely a puppet for them while still trying to like maintain his humanity and work with humans, to do that whole thing. But what irked me most about him was the way he speaks. He does this like 2-word thing where he just says short pieces and he talks like this where
I think he's supposed to be doing like an old-timey like doctor type thing, but he's awful in this movie.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if they just like threw him in here because they needed a name, and he's like the only name, although I really don't know how his career was doing in '98. I think that was like before 24. So it been kind of an awkward period for Kiefer Sutherland.
I had read that he got the script and he turned it he turned it down, being like, I don't know why I got this. I think this was for my dad who sent me this script.
Yeah.
And then the director also was like, why does Kiefer have that? And then they met and he was like, I guess he's all right. And then they went ahead and made the movie.
He's in it.
Movies.
It's not a great role. William Hurt is probably much better as the inspector.
Yeah, I liked that character. I thought he was compelling. And if the TV show spinoff was like a kind of detective sort of noir and like followed a little more him rather than our lead as he developed, finds out that he's the one. Instead, it was more like detective solving things while he also discovers that this other guy is the one. That might be interesting.
But even the main character's not a detective, but it still is like him following clues.
Right. It's still a mystery unraveled.
Basically, yeah. So you kind of accomplishes the same goal anyways, right?
Right. But overall, yeah. If you like, mysteries, and we didn't just spoil everything that this movie has.
Yeah.
Definitely watch the director's cut, and hell yeah, Dark City.
Dark City, Gary. Where does this take place in Harlem? Dark City. What is this? Oakland, California.
I don't even know how to respond to these, Gary.
The episode's already over, Russ. I'm just doing this for my own fun now. Dark City. What are there, black people there?
And now you can use that audio, and it looks like I said it.
Yeah.
Inception, bro.
Or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat.